Hi, it's Ronik from Ask.Audio. We're at Musikmesse 2016 and I'm here with Dennis from Zynaptiq. How you doing, man?
Fine, having a great show.
Excellent. Well, you've got 2 new products to show us today that are coming out. Well, they're not available now, but they're coming out pretty soon, right?
Yes, we have 2 new plugins coming this quarter. They're called Wormhole. It's visible right now. And another one I'll be showing you in a second called AdaptiveVerb, which is essentially and this is not marketing bullshit, a revolutionary new type of reverb. It works entirely differently than all the other reverberation strategies that have been around for the last decades. So yeah, they're coming out soon.
Cool. How does that work then in terms of reverb?
That's a good question. Now I'll try to keep it short because it is a kind of complex process. Essentially, we've adapted a technology also used in self-learning machines like self-driving cars or robots to, for example, in the cars, it's a technology that enables them to learn to avoid obstacles. And for robots, it enables them to not squash things they grab or not drop them. So it's kind of like a bionic biofeedback emulation kind of thing. In practice for audio, it means we have hundreds and hundreds of free-running oscillators that will synchronize themselves to the most dominant harmonics in the input. And then we have a very organic and natural sounding resynthesizer, and we can control every little detail of that, like the decay time, which is the reverb, or the diffusion, or the harmonic content. And it's completely free of any noisy components and transients, because now this is the big thing about this reverb, it's not supposed to emulate a real room. There's other companies doing that really, really well, and we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We wanted to build the warp drive. So what we focus on is the non-realistic acoustic reverb use cases, like adding depth and dimension and harmonic richness without the reflections and the and moving stuff back on the soundstage and stuff like that, or creating new textures, just beautiful sound. Basically, that's what it's about. Wormhole, on the other hand, is a special effects processor geared towards our friends in the games and film sound design industry. It makes creating monster voices, robots, laser guns, spaceship drones, and all that sort of stuff really easy and fast, and it's very hi-fi at the same time. Maybe as it's already open, maybe I can show you.
Let's look at that one first, yeah.
Okay, cool. So, here's me talking some stuff like I was some alien messaging the Earth.
We are the many. For eons we have traversed the emptiness between worlds.
And now we can go ahead and make it sound like this.
For eons we have traversed.
So what's going on there? We have 3 sections. We have the spectral warper, which is kind of it inverts the spectrum of your input in a very weird way and rotates it and adds contrast, but it's not based on an FFT or any other traditional spectral processing technique, because these have rather severe drawbacks for particular applications, like specifically for voice. It starts sounding synthetic really quickly.
Yeah.
So what we do is we have a time domain based process to achieve that, which gives much more convincing results for some types of use cases. The second section over here is another very unique design. It's a pitch shifter, which is nothing new, and a frequency shifter, which is also nothing new, but what is new is the way we do them, because they're essentially the same thing. It's one line of DSP code that achieves both effects at the same time and is completely aliasing free. It has, for the frequency shifter, about 100 dB of suppression for the carrier and the sideband, so it gives you a very organic sound that is, and for the pitch shifter, it has different properties than the other usual designs. So it's a good complement for your toolbox, even if you're already set up with the other great tools available on the market. You can change the order of these two any way you want, and we've thrown in a little nice sounding reverb to support that harmonic oddness you're going to be creating a little bit more. Let me give you a real quick tour of the 3 sections. Here's the warper. What it does on its own is this.
We are the many. For eons we have traversed the entrance between worlds. We are the many. For eons we have traversed the entrance.
You get the idea?
Yeah, very cool.
Let's go to the shifting section. Let me first show you the frequency shifter.
We are the many. For eons we have traversed the entrance between worlds. We are the many. For hours we have traversed.
If you go that far with most other designs, we have loads and loads of sub-bass coming up from the aliasing and a sine wave annoyingly bleeding through all the time, and it won't sound anywhere as clean.
Very cool.
The pitch shifter has a very nice sound too.
We are the many. For eons we have traversed. We are the many.
So it's
This is going to be pretty popular with sound designers and obviously for film and game.
yes.
But I mean, I could also imagine some electronic producers wanting to use this too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's part of my background. I used to produce electronic music, and this type of voice processing is really, really cool in the club, if, you know, to make stuff sound cool. So yeah, those are the 2 main sections. I mean, the reverb in this is just a reverb, so...
But you know, talking about reverb, maybe we should look at the real deal.
Yes, we should look at the new type of reverb. Okay, here we go. AdaptiveVerb. So the name really describes what it does really well because it adapts to the input. And it does so in multiple ways. For one, as I described earlier, we recreate the harmonic parts of the input using a resynth. In addition, we have a source separation based output thing that we call harmonic contour filtering. What does it do? Now imagine this. You have a sound playing, like a guitar picking, and you have a long reverb tail, and it sounds beautiful, but the long reverb tail will mush up all the melody because the tail from the 5th will still be running when you play the 3rd or the octave. And it gets worse if there's a chord change because here comes the chorus. So you got that C major reverb tail overlapping for 5 seconds with your F minor 7 plus 9 plus 11, and it sounds horrible. This section, the harmonic contour filtering, will compare the harmonic content of the input to the output of the reverb, and if there's a strong mismatch, it says, okay, the chord has changed, and then it filters out all the old harmonics out of the reverb tail so it will no longer clash. Now this is probably difficult to hear in this wonderful monitoring environment we have here at the show, but let me try to get the beauty of this thing across with some examples. Here is an acoustic guitar. Let me create a beautifully lush tail for that. Let me solo the tail. As you can hear, there's zero, well, as I hope you can hear, there's zero graininess, zero noisy
Lovely
stuff
smooth texture.
Yes, it's just, it oozes butter, to do the American wording on it. Now that we've seen that, we can of course freeze that tail, change the harmonic structure, or we can add the harmonic contour filtering. And I can even freeze the filter state of that harmonic contour filtering so that if I change the input audio, I could have a guitar playing through a reverb that sounds like it came from a piano going through the reverb. I can of course also just use a little keyboard here to enforce a particular scale being allowed frequencies in that reverb tail, so I can make it fit anything that I want it to fit.
This is really, really nice. So I know that you don't have, you can't give prices yet for AdaptiveVerb or Wormhole, but when do you think they'll be available?
This quarter. I mean, that may be anything between 2 weeks to the last day of the quarter, because many of our customers work in environments where time is the core asset. And we like to make sure that this stuff is always perfectly rock solid. We do not waste our users' time. Other companies like releasing stuff early and call it a public beta, and then you have this bug that wasn't discovered. That's fair enough, stuff happens, but because we want to avoid that situation, we rather ship later, but make sure it will not waste anybody's time.
Cool. Okay, well we look forward to reviewing this as soon as we can, both AdaptiveVerb and Wormhole. So yeah.
That would be great.
Cool, man. Thank you very much, Dennis.
Thank you for coming here.
Okay.
Great. Have a good show.